Hey guys, what's going on? It is Wednesday, and if it is Wednesday, it is time for Story Time with Taffy, episode number 3. Before we get started, I just want to thank you guys for all the support that you've shown and the really, really nice comments that you've left. It's humbling, it's flattering, and I thank you. I know it's repetitive, but I feel that way between every single episode. The topic for today, I picked from the comments. M911ification wants to know, Taffy, what was your worst moment in high school or college? And to that, I can say without almost any hesitation, in high school, the day that I punched in my V card, that was a pretty rough 24-hour period. I was dating this girl, and she had come out of a really crappy relationship, and I was all about saving. Like, I had this huge messiah complex, and I was all about just kind of saving girls that were troubled. I guess it was my bag was I wanted women with bags. I wanted women with issues. So I found one, and I loved her to death. First love. She loved me. But with that came this sort of interesting new set of twists in the fact that I was 18, I hadn't done anything of note, I'd kissed a couple of girls, I was kind of locked into a huge friend zone at my high school. Every girl knew me as like the big older brother type character, which, guys, if you're going down that road, don't feel bad about it. It's a good thing, and ultimately the universe rewards you for being the good guy, but it also keeps you from getting a lot of strange. So, you know, I was the guy that if the girl was drunk, she would turn to me and be like, Ryan, will you give me a ride home? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And they'd know that that was actually going to be all that happened. Like, they could get a safe, sober ride home. But it kept me from really interacting too much with women, which was weird because I was popular and I was in sports and I didn't have a lot of friends. I had a couple of really close friends, but everybody knew me. Like, I was a highly visible person. Nobody ever thought of me that way. So now that I have this girlfriend, like, she's okay if I kiss her and maybe if I touch a boob or whatever. And this is all kind of new for me. So I go to my buddy Trevor. Trevor's a big fan of the channel, big friend of the channel. He's done a lot of concept art and illustration for us for the animated series I'm trying to get off the ground. And I went to Trevor because he was the only person that I was really close friends with that had been with a woman in the carnal sense. So obviously, having done it once or twice, he was my authority, my expert. So I went to him and I was just like, man, if you have any advice you can give me whatsoever, because I really feel like it's kind of cartwheeling that direction. Now is the time. Now is the time to help a brother out. So he looks at me and he doesn't really miss a beat and he says, well, I wouldn't bank on running any marathons. And he kind of nods and walks off. And I was like, oh, great, that's helpful. Yay. Okay, so I caress her cheek and I tell her she's beautiful and then I say, this isn't going to be very good. Buckle up. So the big night kind of comes around and we're sort of getting intimate and everything's going that way. And if you blinked, you missed the sex part, thanks to me. It was not all that great and it was very swift. And generally that's kind of how these stories go with first times. I have not heard a lot of really good first time stories, but, you know, here we are, we're two people in love, so you're thinking to yourself, this is a very nurturing, happy environment in which you can kind of figure these things out, and she was very, you know, there was like no finger pointing, like, oh my god, you suck, you're no man. So I felt good. I was like, okay, well, practice makes perfect, and at some point we'll try again. So I wake up the next morning, feeling like a man. I guess you don't feel any different. Like you feel different because you know something's different, but nothing's actually different. Like I wasn't like a foot taller. You know, my shower lasted a little longer. My coffee was a little blacker. There's a little bounce in my step. But other than that, you know, you feel like something should have changed and nothing's really changed. But I get to school and she's in the hallway hanging out with her friends and I'm walking up and I'm going up to give her a big hug and I get stopped about halfway there. And it's this kid named TJ. And TJ walks up to me and goes, hey man, Christy says that you're her rodeo ride. Do what? You know, her rodeo ride, hard, fast, and over in 8 seconds. So I get there just in time to find out that she wanted to tell somebody about this whole thing. And she told a group of friends, and since it is high school, it got around before I parked my car. I hadn't even been to the building yet. And when I got there, it was that I was a two-pump chump. I had no idea what was going on in the boudoir. So, yeah, that sucked. It didn't suck forever. So if you're hearing this and you're just like, I actually didn't have sex again from 18 to 20, like 2 years, because I didn't see what the big deal was. I was obviously horrible at it, and the amount of fun it was supposed to be was not reciprocal to the amount of effort we as teenage boys were putting into trying to get it. Like, we were so intrigued and so deeply entrenched in the idea that we were supposed to be trying to have sex with anything that would hold still long enough, that when it finally happened, I was just like, this is not at all worth it. Like, are there still monasteries? Is there some place where I can go train to be a Shaolin monk fighter? Because I just don't understand why we are trying so hard. So I didn't do it again for 2 years. I was 20 before I even jumped in the saddle again. And this time I was with a girl who was kind of a naughty girl, who was kind of a woman of ill repute. And ironically, she took mercy on me. She took pity on me because I was such a sort of wounded bird. And she was much more nurturing and kind than the girlfriend that I had that had no experience. So she kind of broke me out of the, I don't want to touch your naughty bits. I don't want to do the grown-up. It's dumb. And showed me that it could actually be fun when handled the right way, so to speak. So that was it. That was it. Showing up to school and finding out that the entire high school was talking about the fact that I was a punk, apparently, I guess. So that's it. That's the story. So go ahead and leave a recommendation in the comments below, and I will try to find a suitable story for the upcoming story time next Wednesday. If you're looking for a PA this week, you may not get one. It looks as though we may not have it edited in time. We needed to get 2 in before machinima offices went on their Christmas break, and it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. So when we come back, 2012, we're going to be hitting the ground running. We've got leads on Bendro, we got leads on Wicked Shrapnel, more collaborations with Hidden Masters. Those guys are great. We're trying to make it interesting, and we're going to keep it going. And of course, more story time with Taffy. On behalf of the Mr. Woofles channel, I, Taffy, thank you, and I will catch you next Wednesday. Y'all be good.